I have Major Mohommed Ali Shah joining us on the broadcast, who's a defense expert. Thank you for joining us this morning, sir. Now, we're talking about the Kabul Gurudwara attack, a major development. Now, our sources are saying that e-visas have been granted by the Indian government for 100 Sikhs and 100 Indians, Sikhs and Indians, in fact, who are living in Afghanistan. Now, sir, do you think this move is in fact something that was needed and the Indian government had to step forward and bring out this move because there was nothing being done by the Taliban administration or the Taliban rule in Kabul?
Firstly, yes, very much. It was very much required, and India has always stepped forward whenever there is a matter of humanity. Not just Indians, but people who are not Indian as well. They have proved it in Afghanistan when we did the rescue operations when Taliban took over. We not only saved Indians, but we saved people from our neighboring countries as well. In Ukraine, when we had the Operation Ganga, we didn't only bring back 28,500 students. We got the other, in fact, the Bangladeshi Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, thanked India for India's goodwill gesture. So yes, this was very, very important. And if we expect Taliban government, we can't expect Taliban government to do anything. Had it been some other country, we probably could have accepted, but then, as they say, tie your camel first, leave the rest to God. So you have to, God helps those who help themselves. So we had to make our moves. We had to do what we think is right. But if you're expecting, no one expected Taliban in the first place, because at the end of the day, if you put two and two together, it's Taliban's cousins only, ISIS, Khorasan, they're cousins of Taliban, and Taliban is a terrorist government.
Right.
It's a government of terrorists. So most certainly they will never in their wildest dreams even think of, though they might talk big, they might say we have reformed, we have changed, we have come with a different ideology, a different philosophy. But a leopard never changes spots. Taliban will remain Taliban. They will remain as human, as barbaric as they are. So most certainly when we issued 100 e-visas for Indians and Sikhs, which means Sikhs which are not Indian as well, we had to rescue them out, we had to bail them out. We had to take a step. We have to lead by example. And the same president, the same thing is going to be following. I can see it happen between being a peace broker between Russia and Ukraine. For that matter, other nations have failed. But India, with its diplomatic ties all over, is respected. So much to the extent that Pakistani students were flying Indian flags in Ukraine.
Right.
Because they perceived that if you are seen with an Indian flag, you will be safe. So most certainly, I commend the Indian government, I commend the Ministry of External Affairs for the good work that we are doing. It's only lead by example, and I think other countries should see what India is doing and should try following suit.
Right. Now, another interesting development, sir. Now, our permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Tirumurti, also has mentioned, he's spoken in the UN. Now, he said, let me read out his statement for you. He said, religiophobia should not be a selective exercise involving only one or two religions, but should apply equally to phobias against non-Abrahamic religions as well. There cannot be double standards on religiophobia, is what he said. Now, this is an interesting statement coming especially at this time as the targeted attack has taken place on a Gurudwara in Kabul. But we are not seeing, that sort of outrage that happens when you see attacks on other religions. Of course, the outrage should happen on any attack, against any religion. Now, that is exactly what India is saying in the UN as well. Your thoughts, sir?
Absolutely. Ambassador Tirumurti is a seasoned diplomat. In fact, even when the Russia and Ukraine war broke out, he spoke at that time also in the UN that India's first priority is going to be evacuating all the Indians safely and securely, get back to India. It was very, very unfortunate when we lost Naveen on 3rd March this year. One of the students over there. That's only, and one of the students was shot. That was, one couldn't really help it. But look at the success of the operation. And Ambassador Tirumurti, the permanent envoy to UN, was absolutely right over there. And being a diplomat, right now he's saying the same thing. What he's saying, my thoughts are absolutely clear. He's saying that you cannot discriminate about any religion, caste, sect, creed, and then based on that you will handpick and then you will rescue. I will correlate this with one small thing. In 2014-15, when the Kashmiri floods took place in Kashmir, the big, huge flood caused devastation. Indian Army that time did major rescue operations without seeing who, what, where, who
Right.
was being rescued, right? So Ahmad Shah Gilani's family was rescued by Indian Army, by my colleagues.
Right.
They did not see who they are rescuing, but that is the spirit. Later on, it was very disgraceful when Ahmad Shah
Right.
Gilani's body was wrapped with the Pakistani flag and he was given that burial. Very disgraceful. But now the thing is, again, when you actually come out in aid, when you come out in rescue, you do not really see who you are rescuing. It's about humanity. And India stands for humanity, for
Right.
that matter, all the time.
Right. Thank you, sir, for joining us and sharing your thoughts on this particular story.